Welcome and thanks for joining me right here on the channel. The solution is you. I appreciate those of you who are tuned in today. If you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. With that, let me go ahead and get into today's topic. Now, the subject for today is the competitive spirit. Now, remember back in grade school, we would have activities such as flashcards where you would line up and you would go against one of your schoolmates and you would compete to solve a flashcard. The teacher would sit at the front of the room and would have maybe a subtraction, addition, multiplication, or division box of flashcards. And so you and your teammates would go head to head to solve the flashcard, and whoever would solve it the quickest would go up against the next team member of the opposite team. So, this was something that was very exciting at the time and would basically show you the meaning of healthy competition in school. And another thing that I remember is field day. So I know mostly everyone in grade school had some sort of a field day. So this would be a day dedicated to getting outside of the classroom and uh, out into the field and participate in a variety of events, such as we would have the sack race. So you get you like a giant potato sack and you would line up against a teammate and you're inside of the sack. And so you would basically jump to a certain point and see who would get there the quickest. Also, you would have like a dash race. So, you would see who was the quickest running. And I mean, there was all sorts of events to basically get into the competitive spirit. And all this was in fun. And another one was the wheelbarrow race. So you would get down on your hands with your legs propped up, and one of your teammates would hold your feet, and you would see who could basically get to the finish line the quickest. So there was so much fun and so many different events at the field day. And along the way growing up, there were other field days. I know that I was raised in the boys club, so we had our own field day with track, and we would have a lot of other events that I would participate in for medals. So it was good to be a participant in these different events and having as much fun as possible and getting involved into some healthy competition. Now, as I got older, and I know many of you can relate, we would also get into other types of competitive events such as dominoes. I mean, how many people would get into domino games, play teams? Dominoes was my game. And play cards. I wasn't much of a card player, but dominoes was my thing. And basketball. So basketball was something that I grew up playing, but I don't like watching it that much, as far as pro basketball. I don't watch it that much until it comes to the playoffs, then that's when it's meaningful to me. But basketball was my thing as far as in the neighborhood. So every day I would get out of school, I would go up to the court with my friends and we would go and we play games of basketball. Also, football. How many of you remember playing some flag football in school? We had the contact football, but flag football was also pretty fun. So, flag football was something that you can do no matter whether you was in school or you were out on a Saturday with your friends. And when it snowed, then that made flag football even more fun. So, these were all competitive things that I participated in, coming up. And it's nothing like a good game or participating in something where you can compete with someone, not just to outdo someone else, but to also push yourself to the next level. You want to do that mentally and physically. And the majority of the things that we do in life are 90% mental, and the remainder is physical. So the thing about having the competitive spirit is I feel that there are a lot of people who get things backwards. And a lot of times we do things based out of tradition. And most times we also do things and we don't know why we do them. We're just so into routine that we do things, and it's not until maybe someone brings it to your attention or you find yourself in a situation, the same situation over and over again, that you sit down to yourself and you think, and it finally comes to you that you've never put much thought into something. How many of y'all have been in that situation? And so, you're being sold on something every day, whether you know it or not. It's something being sold to you every day. And what are some of these things that are being sold to us? Movies, clothing, music, housing, food, insurance, energy. And this is just a handful. I mean, there are so many things being sold to us each and every day. And there's a lot of competition involved for these different companies in these different industries to get their product to us. And when you are in a economic system, a capitalistic society such as the United States, you have to even the playing field. I mean, we're being sold on so many things every day. We're consuming so much each day that so many of us personally we become complacent. And from what I've been seeing in the news for some time now, is a lot of us are just not making it. So there are a lot of people just like me and you who you're going out, you're trying to earn a decent living, you're trying to take care of your family, and then the next day you're homeless. This is a reality. And so we have to ask ourselves, why is this? And how does being in a competitive spirit tie into our behaviors and the realities of what's going on in an economic system? And so, in order to even the playing field, you have to have some sort of reinforcements. And what I would like to do is use a comparison to make my point. And in the movie Avengers Endgame, where Thanos, in my comparison, represents this huge economic system, and Captain America basically represents the average individual who goes out and they're standing up for what they believe in. You're going to work every day. You are behaving like you should. You're not bothering folks. You're minding your own business. You're trying to stay healthy and do the things that you should in order to earn a decent living. And so in the movie Thanos, with his double-edged sword, there's uh, a point at the final battle in the movie where he's using his sword to go up against Captain America, and Captain America has his great shield of vibranium out, and Thanos is pounding Captain America with this sword. He's just hitting him over and over again, and this vibranium shield just starts to get chipped away. And no matter how mighty Captain America is, he could not stand up to this giant force. And it wasn't until reinforcements came in, the team that he has assembled, that the playing field was even. And he eventually went on to conquer the enemy. And so that's how it is in life. We have a bunch of individuals who are great people going out to do the right thing and still end up on the losing end. And the reason for this is, well, part of the reason is that in life, especially in a great economic system, you have to have some reinforcements. Being a good person, which I made a video on this before, being a good person is just not enough. The huge system of bills, illness, layoffs, depression, oppression, division, just to name a few, is too great if you are just operating as a consumer. Because all of us at some point in time have to endure some sort of bill paying. You're going to encounter some type of unforeseen illness. I'm sure all of us have at one time or another been a part of some layoff or cut hours. Somebody go in and cut your hours down. I'm sure at some point some of us have dealt with depression. There are a great number of us who have dealt with oppression, and a lot of us dealing with divisiveness. So, as a consumer, if you don't have any reinforcements to help you fight against this system, and I'm referring to the economic system and everything that is associated with it, you have to have reinforcements, which means you have to have some type of product that you can sell, that you can make money, and along with your whatever job that you have, you're able to have a surplus of money that you can use to protect yourself against a lot of issues that we have, because a lot of the issues and things that come from being economically deprived or not having any product to sell, therefore not having enough money, a lot of the issues that arise from this continue because there's no way to counter it. And so the best way to counter and tackle huge issues like this is to even the playing field with reinforcements. And when you're in a huge capitalistic society, it's you have to have some type of money in order to do this. Now, money isn't the end all be all, but it's definitely a start to something greater as far as networking with people of like minds, people who are part of your community, people of your family, and others who can also help you reach whatever goal that you are in search of. And so competition isn't necessarily some negative thing. I know there are some who believe, when you're talking competition, that means that you are looking to take from someone or you are looking to compete, which causes some type of rift. But competition is something that is very prevalent and also common in the United States. And this is how most people make their living, being in competition with others. You have to compete in order to survive. And this is something that you have to accept and you have to put into everyday practice in order to get better. And you have to be able to get out of your comfort zone to be able to thrive and be able to support your family and those who are willing to work with you. So when it comes to money, and I'm speaking for the ordinary worker, you don't have to have a lot of money to make things happen. It's not about how much money you make, it's about what you do with the money that you have. So you could, as long as you can control your overhead and you can control living underneath your means, that's a great start. And the rest is just what you do with your money. Now, it can be challenging if you're living above your means and you're spending your money as soon as it comes in, it goes right back out the door. Now, that can be challenging, but you can overcome anything. But the reality of is that that can be challenging. But it's about what you do with your money, not how much money that you bring in. Now, obviously, the more money that you can make per hour or per month, I mean, it has some significance, but in the grand scheme of things, it's what you do with your money, not how much money that you bring in. So it has much to do with the way you think, just like anything in life that's meaningful. The way you think and how you process information and get creative and productive and consistent is more important than the money you bring in. And so we see this every day. You have people who are millionaires and go broke. You have people who come into the lottery and then they go broke. Has more to do with how you think and what you do with the money that you have more than how much money that you're bringing in. So you have to keep that in mind. But you have to start somewhere, and being competitive is not a negative thing. You want to get in and be able to support those who are doing great business and just not be a consumer. You want to get into the action. You want to embrace healthy competition and go ahead and take off and take your life to great heights. I thank you for listening to me today. Please understand that the solution is you. With that, have a great day.